Hello, it's Amy with Just a Little Ink. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I'm here today to share with you a double C-fold card, Z as in zebra, that I created using the Hey Birthday Chick stamp set, as well as the all wired up background stamp. The background stamp is on the retired list. I had bought it thinking it paired so nicely with these chickens. The Hey Birthday Chick stamp set and the bundle, the coordinating dies, are available in our January to June mini catalog, and they will be carrying over into our annual catalog that begins in May. The carryover, or the set that came back, Hey Chick, that was a number of years ago one of our celebration stamp sets, that will be available only until the beginning of May. So if that's something you're interested in, you don't want to wait. And you don't want to wait on the all wired background either. Normally a Z-fold card would open to the side. And what I've done to have it work with the cute little chick that's got the balloon on her feathers, I've turned it just so that it opens up from the top. So let's get started. I'll share with you all the different supplies that you will need. So you're going to need a piece of Smoky Slate cardstock. I've cut it at 4 1/4 by 11, and I'm going to score it at 5 1/2 and at 2 3/4, and I'm measuring them from this end. You also want a piece, one that coordinates. I'm using Bermuda Bay. This is cut 3 1/4 inches by 10 inches, and it has been scored 4 1/2 inches and then at 7 1/4 inches. And again, that's from this direction, and I'll show you that as we go. You also need a piece of basic white cardstock, 2 3/4 inches by 4 1/2. That's for the little chick with the balloon. And then you need a piece of, let's see here, I don't have that one on here. You need 2 that are 3 inches by 2 1/2 inches, as well as a piece that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I'll grab that, I set it aside. And then you need some crushed curry, some rich razzleberry, some more Bermuda Bay, and I have attached to the back of it some of our adhesive sheets, and then I've run those through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I'll show you on when I do that as well. One of the little banner dies just makes a really cute birthday. And so let's begin. So again, I'm going to show you how I did my scoring. I really like using my Simply Scored. I don't know that you can see it real well under the camera, but it comes with a couple pins that you can place in different spots. So especially if you're doing multiples, it makes it really great. So I told you I scored at 5 1/2 inches. Comes with a score tool. 2 tips. I like to score with the bolder, the bigger one. Come through here. And then I turned mine. I said I did it at 2 3/4 inches. You want that score, you're going to fold it on that with the score up, with the little bump up. And then this is that 3 1/4 by 10. I'm going to score it at 4 1/2. I'm going to flip it, and you're going to score it at 7 1/4. You could use our paper trimmer with the scoring blade. I just really like the Simply Scored tool. So then we need some other images. So I told you I had a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece, and this is where I'm going to be using my all wired stamp. I'm I'm going to pull out Smoky Slate. I have an older stamp pad here. I'm going to ink up with the Smoky Slate ink onto my background stamp. I'm using the Stamparatus because the Stamparatus helps me to get even pressure. I find it's a lot easier than using the big block that can come. And then I've got a little piece of double-sided sticky. It's something that you can find on Amazon. And I'm just going to make sure that I come up lower than my hinges because it doesn't ink quite as well closer to my hinges, and I want all of this inked. So I'm going to come press down, need to give it good pressure. We'll see how we did. A little bit shy up here, but not too bad. Okay, and then I can pull this off, set this aside. Almost. So I've got another piece, and I think, yes, this is the 4 1/4 by, I believe this is 3. So again, I want to put it on here. I'm going to ink up again with my Smoky Slate ink. I'll verify my sizes and make sure to place them in the description of this video. And you can also find it and all the details and maybe additional pictures, likely additional pictures, on my blog, justalittleink.com. Okay, a piece here. Whoops, almost, not quite. Okay, I've got that piece. Those are my 2 that have the chicken wire. That's what I call the chicken wire. So I'll close my Smoky Slate ink. And then I want to stamp my Hey Birthday chick. I'm using, again, the chick that's got the balloon tied to the tail. And I'm going to stamp it in here. Nice even pressure. And then I'm going to color her on the inside, but I'm going to wait just a minute. So I've told you I had 2 other pieces. These are going to come this direction. On one of them, I'm simply going to stamp Happy Birthday, and I'm using the Tuxedo Black Memento ink for this because I'm going to use the Stampin' blends to color in my images. I've stamped my Happy Birthday. That's all I need on this one. On this other one, I'm going to use this Happy Little Dancing Hatching Chick. And then I'm going to use the image. It says, "Let's celebrate you." And I want it on the upper part, like so. So that completes all of my stamping. Then I want to color. So I'm going to pull out and use the light Pumpkin Pie Stampin' Blend. All of the Stampin' blends are sold in combos. They come with a dark and a light so that you can blend. And sometimes I do the blending. You'll see me do that in a minute. And sometimes I only use one of them. So I'm going to use the beaks, and their feet are going to be the light pumpkin pie. And if you catch a little bit of an edge, I'm going to be using it anyway. So we got our color lifter. And I notice here I've got a little bit I want to push. So what really, I think it's a better name, is color pusher. Push the ink back in. So I'll keep that one out because we will use it again. I'm also going to be using Poppy Parade, and I'm only going to use the light. I want to color the feathers, or I'm not even sure what you call this. I need to do anatomy for chickens. And here I just pushed it right where I didn't want it. So again, I'll pull out my color pusher and push that little bit that I over colored back. All right. And then my chicken is going to be stamped in Smoky Slate to coordinate with our base card. So I'm going to use my dark, and I'm going to come in and just kind of wiggle across all these little bumps for the feathers. It just kind of gives me a guide. I'm not worried about if I'm exact. I put a little on this one, a little here, and come back across the other side. This chick just looks so happy. Okay, and then I'm going to use my light Stampin' Blend, except that I'm going to use the brush tip because I have a little more control, and it has a broader cover. So what's going to end up happening is I'm going to blend some of this dark. You don't want to do it straight down. You want to use the side. If you use the tip too much, you're going to crush the tip, and then you'll be replacing your blends a lot faster than you planned on. And I want to come in here, grab just enough to blend there. Same thing here. I'm blending really. Then I'm going to come in and grab the feathers here. And then I'm going to put a little on her head here. Then what I found, because I don't want as much, I'm going to come in with my color lifter and I'm going to blend out on the head feathers, a little bit on these front wings, and a little bit on the tail feathers, just to kind of blur them out a little bit. And the more I do, the more they blur. And that's the beauty of the blends, is that you can just keep on either adding, or in this case, taking away, without piling up the fibers in your paper. Like so. Then I want to use the Daffodil Delight to color my little chick. So I'm using the dark to kind of come along the edge, and then I'll come back in with the light. Most of the time I do use the bullet tips, so I think I have better control. Like so. And then finally, I'm going to come in. We don't have rich razzleberry anymore. I'm using some rich razzleberry ink, paper, but our light Blackberry Bliss is very close. So I'm going to use it on the cap of my little chick. And then I'm going to be coloring with the Bermuda Bay. And so I'm going to use just the light Bermuda Bay for this center stripe on his hat. That guy is done. On my balloon, however, I am going to use the dark. And so I'm going to come in, I'm going to shade with the dark, kind of using these lines as kind of a starting point. And I'm going to take the dark, kind of in a crescent type shape. Then I'm going to come back using my light, and I'm going to start in that darker section, and I'm going to swirl it around. And again, anytime you're covering a broader amount of space, you want to use that brush tip. So, like so. And then I'll come up and grab along this end. And then it's simply a matter of, and I want a little bit of a shadow in there, so to look like it's getting some light. So all of that part is done. I'm going to pull out my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Put this aside. I'm going to grab, I need my plates. So I have a number 1 plate. I have a number 3, or excuse me, a number 2, which is my cutting plate. I'm going to put my birthday chick on there. In the die set, the birthday chick die set, there is a die that fits exactly to cut out this adorable little chick. I'm going to line it up, and then I'm going to use a piece of just some scrap washi that I have laying around. You've seen me do this before. That just keeps it from moving. So I'm going to put this in here. I want to stack my plates a little bit. That helps them run through the machine a little easier. If you have a little cracking, that's okay. You're not hurting anything. So then I can pull off my birthday chick. All nice and cut out. And then I told you I'd wanted to show you exactly how it is that I cut out my birthday banners. So I'm going to put it with the adhesive sheet on the back side. I'm going to line up one of the banners. I'll line it up here. Run it through again, stacking these things through. And I find keeping your take-a-pick tool handy. I keep the pointy end on my take-your-pick tool. Comes with, as I knock things off in my space, the take-your-pick tool also comes with a stylus that can come in here. So they just simply twist in and off. The other end of the pointy one is a spatula piece. So I have that, and I mention it because it tends to want to stick, especially in this die. So just poke it through with one of those holes, and then I've got enough here. Set that out of the way. So we can start assembling. I cut 3 of each of these colors of what I'm working with. So I want to show first, I'll set all these things out of the way. So I'm going to do my banners on this piece that I cut and then stamped with the wired background stamp. The other thing I use my take your pick tool and the little pointy end is that it's a great way to lift this backer paper off. So I came in, and what I did, takes a little bit of fussing, but I think it's worth it. You're going to come, and you want to make sure that the ends match. So I've got one here. I'm going to use Bermuda Bay. Bermuda Bay then will come, and I'm going to crisscross my banner. These two work pretty easy because we're at the beginning. So these here. Then I'm going to take one of our crushed curry banners. I just really liked how this made this look. So I'm going to come here, and I'm going to overlap on this end, but you'll note it doesn't come all the way. So what I did is I took another piece that I cut, and that's why it takes a little longer. I'm going to snip it off, use my paper snips. This is longer than I need, but I will come in with my paper snips, grab that here, and the beauty is you can make these as long as you need to. So then I'll grab it here. When I'm done, no one will know that I pieced it, except you. Okay, extra here. Then I want to take another one of my rich razzleberry pieces, kind of offsetting these colors. So come here. I'm going to come and swing it this way. And again, I need more. That's not enough. So I'm going to come in. It looks like I'm good to this point. We'll see. So I'm going to take off my backer paper. Just like so. Well, we thought we were good. Let me come a little further just to make it cheat. If not, cut a little more. You'll have a little bit of extra. So if you misgauge like I did, it's all fine. So better to have too much. Snip off on the back side. And I need another Bermuda Bay. Gonna overlap here, and actually it's going to end up covering up that section. And then I need a little more. So I'll come this direction. We'll come up here. That way we know we have enough. No repeats. All right. Like so. I'm going to continue my banner. Look there. And again, snip off the back side. Now, if you're careful, you're not cutting into things. Okay. And then finally, I've got my last big piece of crushed curry. I'm going to bring it in here. So I'm going to take my piece here, this excess, line it up, like so. Probably could keep that piece. And then I have the front for my card. I'm going to put some mini dimensionals on the back. I really like the minis because I can pop up my chicken, all these little corners with the feet. It's close to my balloons, and then I can grab a little more at the base of my balloons, and then I'll space out 3 more. You could use the larger original dimensionals and just snip to make them smaller, but these minis are just so convenient. Okay, so then this will sit on the front of my panel, like so, and then we're ready to start assembling. So, to assemble my double Z card, first I'm going to fold it in half. That is that 5.5 inch fold. So on the Smoky Slate. And then I told you this is where my bump is, so I'm going to fold back on that bump. So that was that 2 3/4 inch piece. So here has my fold. This piece goes on the background. You could also be using designer series paper, but I like the use of a stamped panel. So I'm going to put my chicken wire back here. Okay, like so. Then I'm going to fold this smaller panel. This one isn't an even fold. You'll notice it hangs over just a little. And this piece folds in half, like so. So then I have this kind of going on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay it on here. I want to make sure that this fold comes in and centers in. What I found best is to come in, figure out about what the center is, making sure this piece stays down. So you're going to fold it back. I'm going to use Stampin' Seal Plus because it is a little more durable. You want to make sure that you are not coming into this section or you'll stick here. So I'll again line up to center my card. Make sure I'm straight here. And I'll press. That attaches that piece. Then I want to make sure all of this goes down. So I will come with my Stampin' Seal Plus. I really only need probably a couple rows, but I don't want it to go anywhere. Any of these cards that have movement. You could also use our green tip glue, otherwise known as multi-purpose adhesive. So then I can fold it back on itself. And that's my mechanism that moves and opens. So I can put my front, that's what comes here. So again, I'll pull out my Stampin' Seal. Just wiggle it if your adhesive isn't quite at the end. So that can come on the front. And then as I open it, I want my happy birthday here. You could put them in whatever order you want. I'm going to have the place where you write be in the middle, not on the end. And then my greeting's going to come down here. So again, I'm going to put a little bit of Stampin' Seal. This part is going to come here. And like that, you have an adorable action double Z fold birthday chick. Thanks so much for joining me. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would so appreciate it if you would do so. If you haven't clicked on the bell so that you might receive notifications every time I post a new video, I would so appreciate you doing that as well. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be yours. You can order from my website, justalittleink.stampinup.net, anytime. And if you're placing an order under $150, I'd appreciate it if you would use my April host code. I'll also have that in the description of this video. If you place an order of $150 or more, you are going to receive host benefits, and so don't use that. It'll eliminate your ability to get benefits. Thanks again for joining me. I'll look forward to seeing you again next week.